Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Beer 30 Sanity session number 5016. Here's to you, here's to me. Should we ever disagree? Here's to me. Skål. Prost. Cheers. Baby, it's warm outside. I don't care where you are in the United States. I think it's warm everywhere. But having said that, to maintain your sanity, get you a little toddy of whatever you like. I don't care if it's iced tea, soda water, or whatever. Those of you that like beer, help yourself. And that those of you that are doing the blunt, do it. That's your choice. And enjoy your life the best way you can, because one day you'll wake up and you'll be 77 years old. You got me? How do I know? Because I did that yesterday. I woke up and I was 77. Having said that, moving right along to what? Well, I went to what do they call it? Coach Edie or Coach whatever. It's a lake near Santa Fe, New Mexico, and it wasn't that well. All of the all the electric sites were taken, and some of the ones with electric and water were taken also. And then they have several that don't have any kind of hookups at all, like tent camping or whatever. And those were, I think, 2 of them were taken out of probably 50. So yeah, if you have any amenities at a campground, people are filling them up. And what I noticed, and this was probably true many years ago, but I don't think it to the same degree, and I don't think there were as many young people out living in motorhomes and travel trailers and tents and all that stuff. But I did notice that, and there was a family living in a small travel trailer. I don't know how they did it. It was it was a bumper pull, and there were 4 boys, young boys under the age of 10, everywhere between 5 and 10. That's got to be madness inside of a travel trailer. But, people do what they got to do to survive, and that's the way life is. But during a sanity session, we have to focus on those things that keep us sane. It gets harder and harder to find them. Oh, here's one. In Carrizozo, New Mexico today, I stopped and got gas. $3.99 a gallon for regular unleaded. Can you believe that? And here in Capitan, it is $4.69 a gallon. You hear me? That's 70 cents a gallon difference in price in 20 miles. Shame on you, brewers. Shame, shame. If Allsups and Valero can do it in Carrizozo, these folks around here could use a little help too. But having said that, yeah, that's the cheapest gasoline I saw on my whole trip. Yeah, I went ahead and came back today. Why? Well, because, a few things, but mainly the no-see-ums, the little insects. I couldn't sit outside. I wanted to sit outside and enjoy a beer, and in the shade and stuff. You can't, man. They won't leave you alone. They will not. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, you can put on lemon oil or diesel or whatever, and it'll stop that crap. Guys, I don't want to have to doctor my body with toxic chemicals to go outside and enjoy myself. So no, I've run into those things before, and I was going to move to another place. I was going to go up to Heron Lake. There was a guy in the park, he and his wife, that had just come from there, as they said, a few days ago, and they said that the no-see-ums were there. And so, but I had called the park a few days ago, and they said no, they weren't bothered by them. So then I called the park back, and this time the guy said, yeah, they're there. Anyway, so it seemed like everywhere I wanted to go was kind of, well, it was plugged up. But anyway, because I really want electric, at least, good internet connection, some privacy of some kind, and, and a temperature that I can enjoy. I think it was going to be 96 today there. And so, that's a little, it's warm here today. I mean, right now it's 86 here, and it's a little too warm to sit outside. Yeah. Actually, it's showing 85 now, but yeah. So again, so RVing for me it's all changing. Well, I'm changing too. I'm getting older, but what's that got to do with sanity? Well, it's got a lot to do with my sanity. Okay, here's to you guys. Skol. Mm. Mm. Muy bueno, muy bueno, muy bueno. Cerveza. So, yeah, I was thinking back about years ago when I first started RVing. Of course, there was no internet at all then. This was in the early '90s. I mean, there might have been something, but I certainly didn't have access to it. And yeah. But I had the carpet, outside, and I never did the Christmas lights like everybody did. But now you don't have to do that anymore. But the carpet you can do if you choose to. But the RVs now, they come lit up like a Christmas tree. They got lights everywhere. They got lights in the front, and some of them have these lights about this big around for like night lights, and they'll shine for about 12, 15 miles. I mean, crazy, but they leave them on at night. Enough said. You know the deal. And been a lot of changes. Is it more or less enjoyable now? It's probably, I don't know, maybe a little on the less side. I don't seem to get real excited about it, but I think that's a function of age, not so much a function of what's going on out there. What's that got to do with sanity? A little bit, I guess, if you stretch it, you know what I mean. But, I was trying to think of some stories I could tell you about, RVing or when I was growing up and stuff in Kennedy, Texas on the farm. And, it seems like I've told most of them that have any humor in them. I could tell stories that really, well, they weren't humorous then, but when you look back, there was a little humor.Ll give you one. We had, I don't know if I've mentioned this one or not, but we had a John Deere G, a John Deere A Massey Harris 44, and we had an old Fordson tractor, and they all were used for different things. But the John Deere G had one big front wheel and it ran on propane, and but once it was slow on the start. But once it got going, it would roll. Okay. Now the Massey Harris 44 was quick on the start, but it ran out of gas. I mean, it wasn't that fast in the stretch. Well, anyway, my brother and a friend of his from town were plowing one day, and for some reason they got in a race leaving the field to get back to the barn at the house. Well, I saw them coming, and I think the guy's name was Charles something, not my cousin, but another Charles. But he was on the Massey Harris, and he'd gotten an early lead. But when you got to past our house, there was a sharp turn to the right, and then to the place where we parked the tractors. And well, anyway, heading into that turn, that old John Deere was gaining, and my brother saw him, so my brother was going to try to cut him off at the pass, so to speak. Boy, my mouth's dry. God almighty. Here's to you. But anyway, they were going around the turn, and my brother kind of moved over. But when he moved over, the Charles kind of turned real sharp. Well, anyway, it raised up on one wheel, because it's only got three, and raised up on the left side from the momentum, and he went that way for probably 20 yards. I thought he was going to make it, but he didn't. He flipped the tractor. He flipped it. There's two stacks on the top of the engine. One's an exhaust and one's something else. I don't know what it was. Air filter, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, he flipped it over and broke those off. And but my brother is the one that got in trouble, because he wasn't supposed to be doing that crap. But anyway, what's that got to do with sanity? Well, it just shows how the insane, stupid things we do when we're kids. I'm surprised I wasn't involved in it, but I wasn't. I did a lot of dumb things on tractors. I used to get if I was plowing in an area, on the other side of town, maybe helping a neighbor out or whatever. Well, hell, when I came back through Kennedy, that was just like my personal car. I'd go down to the drugstore and go in and get some ice cream, and whatever I wanted to do, I'd just go around town in that damn tractor, and nobody said a word, and then I'd head home. And yeah, but crazy times growing up. There used to be a place that we'd go to when we were, I want to say 15-ish, where we could go get beer. It was a beer joint out in the country, about a mile and a half from my house out in the country, and about a mile and a half from town. What we'd do is we'd walk out there, and there was one old guy in our group that was tall, and he looked old, but I don't doubt if he looked 21. I'm sure he didn't. But old Joe would sell him beer. He wouldn't sell any of us beer, but he'd sell him beer. So anyway, we walk out there, and he'd knock on the door, and he'd say, "Hey, Joe, it's Hoppy." And he, "What do you want?" He said, "I need to get some beer." And Joe, he'd rattle up there and unlock the door, no matter what time it was. He'd have Hoppy'd hand him $2 or $3. He'd hand him some beer, and away we'd go, man. And no fear of ever having a problem with law enforcement at all. Never. Those things just didn't happen, because the law enforcement would just tell you, you better get rid of that crap, or we're going to tell your parents. Well, back then, if you told the parents, you were dead, particularly my family. That would have been dead. I wouldn't be talking to you. But, I can't, as far as any other things that happened really exciting as I was growing up, there were always things, that were going on. And, we lived like humans, like most of y'all did too, I think. And, football in Kennedy, Texas was a big deal, if you played, well, in fact, when we had Coach Nelson there, if you wanted to play football, you had to play every other sport. You couldn't just pick one. If you wanted to play, if you wanted to be on the golf team or the tennis team or whatever, you had to play football too. That was it. You may not ever get to play during the game, but you're warming the bench, and sitting in a uniform. He said the more of us there are on the sidelines, the more intimidating we look. Yeah, he felt like he was like an army, you know what I mean? If your side had 60 guys, even though only 20 of them were really going to play, it looked like the advantage was with you. And he did that because, see, a lot of guys, they didn't make the cut, you know what I mean? They wouldn't let her or anything, but you still had to be there if you wanted to play baseball and any of that stuff. And what has that got to do with the price of turnips in Guatemala? Not a hell of a lot, man. Not a hell of a lot. Skull, here's to you. I'll tell you a joke. I may have told it before. This old boy was in prison. He'd been in prison for about 6 years. In the last several months he was in prison, he found this little ant, about, maybe not quite a half-inch long, just a little old bitty ant in his cell. And he trained that damn ant to do all kinds of little tricks and stuff, and he kept it in a little matchbox. And anyway, he'd give it stuff to eat, crumbs and shit. Anyway, but he kept that thing for several months, and he had a well-trained ant. And anyway, he got out on probation or parole, whatever the hell it was. And of course, first thing he wanted to do was go to the bar and get a beer, or get drunk, whatever. So anyway, he goes in this bar, and his first stop out of prison, had his little matchbox with his little ant that could do all kind of tricks in it. And so he goes in the bar, and bartender comes up there and he says, he said, "Hey man, could I help you?" And the ex-prisoner or the ex-con says, "Here, let me show you something first." So anyway, he pushes open the matchbox, sets it on the bar, and the little ant crawls out. And the ex-con says, "You see that little ant right there?" And the bartender says, "You mean that one?" See what happens, guys, when you're left alone too long? You come up with shit like that. You mean that one? That would kill me. Just think, you spent all that time training. Never mind. And no more, guys. No more jokes. Here's to you. Here's to me. Yeah, there's a million jokes I could tell, but y'all wouldn't think they're funny. I've told you the one about Quasimodo 50 times, and there's other. I think I told you the one about the guy who wanted to be a monk. I'm sure I told you that one. And there's just not that many. We used to sit and tell jokes in bars many years ago in the 70s. We'd go to a bar after work, and people knew jokes, and yeah, they had some pretty damn good ones, but I can't remember hardly any of them except what we called the Hall of Fame jokes, and that was Quasimodo, and then the monk, and I can't remember some of the others, but there were hundreds of them, guys. You know it, and I know it. And but anyway, guys, it's been a long drive today, and I really did. I thought about going up to Heron Lake and spending some time, and then it occurred to me that I didn't want to take a chance on the no-see-ums and all that crap, and the site I had was a pull-through, but I only had it for like 2 nights, and then I'd have to move on again, and the third place, I couldn't find a third place, except I did find called Wild Rivers, which is north of Taos, which wouldn't have been a very long drive from Heron Lake. And they have a few pull-throughs there, but there's some back ends that you can you don't have to unhook the dolly, just take the car off and back in, and but I thought about that, but I called them too, and I asked him if the no-see-ums were bad, and he said, yeah, they're here, they're here. And the bad thing about those little cedar gnats, or whatever you want to call them, is they get in your hair, man, and they they bite you. And then if you wear a hat, and your long sleeve shirt and stuff, they get right here in your face. I mean, right in your eyes and your ears and stuff. And I know everybody's going to tell me to put diesel on my body and light it, and that'll keep it off. And I guarantee you, it damn sure will. But I don't want to exterminate my body to keep bugs off. And I think I said that. But having said that, from Capitan, New Mexico, on a warm afternoon, I got my window AC in the front there, the cab, so it's keeping it cool while I'm doing this video. And I was thinking on the way back, what could I do to improve my life or change? Why am I wearing these glasses? I have no clue. I found them when I was cleaning up the other day. I was cleaning off, organizing stuff, and I found them. And I thought, well, hell, I'll just wear these. Why? Because they look silly. That's about it. They look like, what was his name? John Lennon or whoever it was with the Beatles wore something like this. Here's to you guys. Yeah, there was a lot of crazy things going on in my life. And but as far as coming up with anything to really improve my lifestyle or enhance it, I came to the conclusion that I got it, man. I mean, I've got a place here for the summers. I got a place in Texas for the winters. I got a good mobile house to go back and forth in. And as long as that's functional, I think that's what I'm going to do. So thank y'all all for your happy birthday wishes and happy birthday cards and letters and stuff. And I've got some more. I got some more in the mail today. I went and checked the mail. I'll do a mail call probably Sunday. That'll give me a chance to check the mail on Saturday, and we'll catch up on those. But thank you very much. And what else can I say? Yeah, if you want to go out camping today, you be careful with the outside temperature. Be sure the temperature outside during the day is hopefully 80 or below, which would be nice. And also that there's no no-see-ums or biting flies and stuff, because you can call, and usually the park rangers will tell you. They say, hell yeah, they're driving me nuts too, and that doesn't really ruin the whole trip, but it puts a damper on it. You know what I mean? Because you want to go outside and you got to hustle out and shut the door real quick because you don't want them to get inside. And yeah, they can be irritating as hell, man. And but it's not new. I mean, that's not new. I mean, that's been going on my whole RVing career. And I used to wear one of those hats with the things and hang around it, and it fits tight around you. But I don't want to be sitting there looking through a hairnet. If I want a beer, I got to lift this thing up. No, I don't want to do that. But having said that, I'm into comfort. I'm sure you are too. But with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy your Friday night and your weekend coming up. And the best way to remain sane is eliminate negativity. Period. I mean, the best you can, because if you eliminate that downside in life or keep it under control, you're going to be much better off. Don't watch the news. That's your choice. But anyway, with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, thumbs up. Carpe diem. Adios. Bye-bye. Buy anything you want. If you want to fool with the Amazon link, do. If you don't, don't. Drink plenty of water or beer, whatever you're into. And enjoy your life the best you can, man. Because it's short. I mean, I can tell you it's short now. Yo. You know, this is the bell curve of life. Whoop. Where am I at? Well, you know where I am. I do too. But anyway, guys, enjoy everything the best you can. So with that, accentuate the positive. Remain sane. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye.